what an amazing day it has been. I have learned an awful lot. I hope that you have as well. And kind of thinking about this, I guess I was like drinking from a fire hose, right? So before we wrap up, I do want to thank our ASL interpreters. We have Anne, we have David, and Janesha. Really appreciate all their work to help make sure that our production today is accessible to a wider audience. And also all of you in the chat who've given us that great positive feedback on the ASL. We really appreciate that as well. Today has definitely been full of way too many pie jokes, but a lot of them are actually about the baked goods, not about the number, and that's absolutely totally irrational, but we did that anyway. Thinking back on the launch, it's pretty hard to believe just how quickly 16 years have gone by. Super, super, super fast, and we've now got 16 trillion, we've now got 16 years, we've got 200 trillion objects in S3, which I do find just absolutely, totally amazing. I do remember writing that very first blog post, and now we've got an entire team, we've got a process, we've got a ticketing system, we've got all these stages and steps and reviews. Back then, it was simply my inbox, and we'd been getting ready for the launch for quite some time, but we didn't really have things as organized as we do today. So I apparently was getting ready to leave for a trip to Silicon Valley, and suddenly it was like, oh, today we are launching S3. You better write a really fast blog post for that. So I got all the facts together, put together a clean, simple, straightforward blog post, but all the facts, and really set the stage for how we like to do things with, here's what it is, here's what it does, here's how you use it, here's a couple ideas, here's how much it's going to cost you, please have at it. And that really set the stage for a lot of launches to come. So running to catch that plane, wrote just as much as I could very, very quickly, got to Silicon Valley, and there was already a little bit of buzz there. And it was clear that people were getting kind of excited about S3, and they knew what it was pretty quickly. Definitely the sense of, wow, this is new and different and foundational. I don't think I really got a sense of just how much of a success it was going to be, but after not that long, I started to see all this great energy around it. I saw blog posts, I saw sample code, I saw people chatting about it, I saw different kinds of commentary back on, if you remember the original AWS forums, I remember a lot of great talk on those great forums. People looked at this and said, wow, it indeed lives up to its name. It's so simple to understand and to use. I can do really awesome stuff with this very, very quickly. So people got it just right away. I remember maybe a year or two after that launch, I think I was at an event in London, if memory serves me right, and we were in this kind of vertical conference facility, going between floors. I was kind of toward the back of the elevator. A couple devs got in front of me, and they were discussing some kind of problem about where they needed to put something. And then one of the other conference attendees said, dude, just like put it in S3, obviously, that's the way to go. And they're like, oh yeah, of course, that's the obvious solution. It was kind of a neat, very early validation of just that acceptance of S3 as just the clean, obvious way to solve the problem of where do you store something. Now you know today we've got the great scalability, we've got those 200 trillion objects, we've got the 4 nines of availability, we've got the 11 nines of durability. All those things that are incredibly awesome, super important parts of S3 that you can appreciate, but you can just take for granted and say, this is just this really like rock solid system I can build my own app on top of. Now, at first, we launched S3, and people saw that simple word. And I think there's really 2 different ways that it could be interpreted. When we were deciding how to name all these different services, we chose simple to mean, well, this is going to be a conceptually simple service. We're going to be able to explain it to you very easily. There's going to be a modest number of concepts and APIs, and we should be able to get that point across to you very, very quickly. And I think we got that with S3. You could start at the very beginning. You could say, here's a bucket, here's an object, here's how you manage permissions, here's how you put one in there with a put call, here's how you list the contents of a bucket, here's how you get. Very, very simple, fits on a page or 2, and that should be actually all you need to know in order to get your app going. Now, of course, there's a whole lot more you can learn after that. I just checked earlier this afternoon. There's now 2,770 pages of S3 documentation. So But that same set of simple concepts still applies, but there's this incredible amount of richness as after you understand those first couple concepts and you're good, you can just learn all those other things step by step, feature by feature, as you actually need them. Now, the other kind of, so we wanted that conceptual simplicity, and I think we got that, and to a large extent, we're still there. But the other kind of audience, there's always a set of folks look and say, "Whoa, that's so simple," and they thought, "Well, it's so simple. There's not really a whole lot there." And the funny thing I used to hear was, "Yeah, I could have built one of those in a weekend, and maybe I even did for my undergraduate project." And I'm thinking, maybe not. You know, how's your scalability? How's your durability? How's your actual availability? But today, are we still simple? I think despite all that documentation, all those APIs, I can explain to you buckets, objects, and get, and put, and list, a little bit of security, and you're good to go. So there we are. So I learned a couple different things today, a couple different themes. There's a lot of different options for data security. You can keep your data safe from the pirates. There's a ton of innovation. We've done a lot on our innovation side, but you also think of that innovation as we do all this innovation to empower you to do your own innovation. And then there's a lot of different ways that you can do cost optimization as well. On the security side, you heard all kinds of good things about IAM, about ACLs. You heard about bucket policies. You heard Becky saying, well, maybe you don't need to think about the ACLs as much anymore as you used to. The block public access feature, super important. And then this unique model that we have where you can use the query string authorization to do the time-limited access. Lots and lots about innovation. You heard about building a data-driven organization, the data lake, which Becky described as, okay, it's a big gulp with a lot of straws. And then, now I try so hard not to play favorites with services and with features. It's like being a parent. You don't want to ever have a favorite child or grandchild. But we did hear about S3 Object Lambda, which I actually think is one of the, not just coolest, but perhaps least fully understood and appreciated parts of S3. So if you want to maybe get a little secret edge, take a look at S3 Object Lambda and see what you might be able to do with that. And then with cost optimization, you heard about S3 intelligent tiering. We've saved customers over $250 million so far, with more happening, of course. And that, in addition to that storage tier, which helps to save you money, you know we've got this long history of price reductions. We keep giving you more storage classes that are tuned for what you need to do, and then the storage lens to get even better visibility. Of course, the storage lens, I don't quite remember, does the storage lens have the pie charts or not? Finally, so where do we go? What are you going to do with all the things that we told you today? Well, review all this great content. Think of the problems you need to solve, the challenges that you have, and start building. Now, I always do advise folks, you're going to put some time and energy into learning something. Learn it, use it, but create some content around that and share it as well. Tell your colleagues, tell your family, share it with your pets if you need to. Go ahead and earn those new cloud badges for your object and your block storage. So thanks for hanging around all day, and have a great Pi Day.